Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 requires a combination of skill,
Surrender.
dedication, and most importantly, patience
Enough.
when tackling its unique combat systems. With numerous bandits and ruffians scattered throughout Bohemia, you'll soon become familiar with the game over screen. Especially early on during your adventures, but there is a way to make nearly any combat encounter a trivial affair, and it's a quest that can easily be missed. When the tutorialized intro is complete and Henry has been freed from the stockades in Troskowitz, you'll want to get exploring. Instead, immediately after the stockades cutscene is complete, approach Bara the Beggar, a lady in red, shouting to get your attention just a few feet away.
Do you have a moment?
Once the introductory pleasantries are over with, you'll have the option to select Tell Me More About Tomcat. Bara goes on to describe a master swordsman, who also happens to have a penchant for womanizing, and beyond his status as a tough joker, you'll get to ask the beggar, do you think he might teach me something? After getting told you look like a bit of a lightweight,
You're a bit of a lightweight.
cheers for that, you'll have Combat Training 1 added to your side quest journal, with the objective now reading, Go and See Tomcat. Unfortunately for us, Master Tomcat is currently living around a nomadic camp, situated on the other side of the Trotsky region, which is a fair distance to travel. If you're tackling this quest straight away, we don't advise taking the scenic route with your feet alone, as the roads are fairly dangerous.
You're no match for me.
Cut the bullshit and fight!
And instead, you'll want to make your way to the southernmost part of Troskowitz town. Here you'll find a few horses belonging to a nearby stable. Make sure to politely borrow the nearest one, without anyone noticing of course, and make your way westward towards Tomcat. Continue to follow the yellow objective A marker until you reach the Nomad's camp and Master Tomcat. You'll know you're in the right place if you spot a devilishly handsome mustached fella wearing the medieval equivalent of a hillbilly vest. Once you approach, make sure to ask, are you good with a sword? This string of dialogue will begin your training with the Master Swordsman proper, with him even lending you a practice longsword as well. How nice!
Here's a practice longsword, so we don't hurt each other.
After a bit of time in the makeshift arena, you'll get introduced to both natural and true combos, two useful swordplay techniques that are now permanently added to your moveset. Once that sparring session is over, you'll finally get to ask Tomcat,
What about other techniques?
this is where the most useful and potentially overpowered technique can be learnt, the Meisterhau, also known as the Master Strike.
You can't take me.
Oh! Mercy! Spare me!
This advanced sword-only technique allows you to strike from the opposite direction during an opponent's attack, no matter which weapon they use. This not only stops their blow, but allows you to score in a free hit of your own. This secret strike will form the backbone of your swordplay, and instantly take the pressure off most early encounters. However, the only way to learn it is by challenging Master Tomcat to a sword fight.
I'll challenge you to a duel then.
Ha! I've barely taught you anything and you're already getting cocky. But very well. At least I'll demonstrate the difference between us.
While it's not impossible to best Tomcat at this point, the fight will certainly provide a challenge, especially so early on. If you decide to go ahead, don't be discouraged if you lose.
Sorry, lad, but it's too soon for me to teach you the Master Strike.
Every single time you swing a weapon will help increase your overall level and combat skills. So if you'll prefer to level up the easy way before challenging him once again, would advise to practice your fighting technique with Tomcat by selecting the Could We Practice Combat and Practice Fight dialogue options.
I just want to practice.
And what's your weapon of choice?
Make sure to select either longsword or shortsword as your weapon of choice. It's recommended to also have Tomcat use a longsword too, to better align with the soon-to-be real steel rematch. Even though you'll be using wooden swords, you'll still gain XP. This means you now have an easy and, more importantly, free way to level up your combat skills whenever you want. Would recommend increasing both sword and warfare to level 8. This should only take a few minutes when training with Tomcat, and once reached, you'll receive a single perk point for each category. Under the Warfare Combat tab, you can select the Hardened Veteran perk, which helps regenerate stamina 10% faster. and the Precise Strike perk in the Sword tab, which not only increases your fully charged sword attack by 3 times, but also makes it harder to parry. Both of these perks will be a fantastic boon once you challenge Tomcat again. Once you've had your fill, approach Tomcat one final time and challenge him to that duel. With some extra perks and added experience, you should have a better chance of defeating this otherwise tough opponent. If you succeed, you'll have the option to learn the Master Strike ability.
So, do you think I have what it takes?
All right. You deserve to be taught the Master Strike. Here's a training sword so he won't get hurt.
Let's get to it.
If you succeed, you will finally have the option to learn the Master Strike ability. After one final tutorial from Tomcat, the Master Strike will now be permanently added to your repertoire. Now you're free to roam around Bohemia with greater confidence than before. However, don't get too overconfident when in combat, as more experienced and skilled fighters can also use the Master Strike against you. For now though, take pride in the fact that most lowly bandits you encounter early on won't stand a chance. If you're still struggling with the fight, why not stick around and watch my full encounter with Master Tomcat, which might offer you a hint or two as to how to defeat this tricky swordsman.
Christ! I'm hit!
Ah! So, do you think I have what it takes?
All right. You deserve to be taught the Master Strike. Here's a training sword so he won't get hurt.
Let's get to it.
The pinnacle of swordsmanship are so-called Master Strikes. You can only perform a technique like that with a sword, no matter if it's short or long, or if you're using a shield. What you do need is a blade and a guard that protects your hands. Master Strike is a technique that allows you to counter an opponent's attack with your own. A swordsman that can learn such a technique is undefeatable. Let me show you. Attack me from the right. Surprised? Now you try. Master Strikes are what elevates the swords above other weapons, and there is no defense against them. You've learned how to parry your opponent's attack with a properly timed block, but this time, you attack instead of blocking. Timing and direction are everything. Hit your opponent at the right time and from the right angle. I'll attack slowly from above. You take up position with your sword below and strike against my attack. But enough talk. Come and try it yourself. That's more like it. All right, let's try it once more. But this time, I'll attack from the side. Now pay attention. If I hold my sword to the left, put yours to the right. If I'm on the right, get ready on the left. Master Strike works only with an opposite strike. Otherwise, it's the same. You strike when I begin my attack. Ready?
Always.
Good. Again. That's the way.